Okay, now we're recording. All right, so let me go back to this share screen. Okay, you guys can all see this now.
Yes.
Yes?
Recording, yes.
Okay. All right, so we're going to pick up where we left off last week, and I added, this is what I'm going to do. I went into the same PowerPoint, and I added to it, and so every week I am going to keep adding to it so it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll email it to you guys. And the reason that I'm not even a big PowerPoint person when I'm teaching, but I'm doing it this way so that you guys can see what it is that I'm talking about, except that my screen is not really working. So tell me, who was on last week, did you, okay, here we go. All right, good. So do you think that this is useful? We like this? We're going to continue doing this?
Yes.
Okay. And I know Denise is on this week and you watched last week, and we're missing a few people tonight, but I am recording this. So, and Wendy's on through the phone. So, okay, what I said we would talk about tonight, and chime in at any point, anything you guys want to talk about. But each week we'll talk a little bit about prospecting and review kind of what we did the prior week, and then we'll start the Sandler sales cycle. So the first stage in that is bonding and rapport. So I put together some stuff for tonight, but I also went back through the prospecting part of it. Okay, now, again, you can chime in at any time, but I've been doing a lot of research, and this is all new to me too, because I never did MLM. And I'm also out of sales, like I had said, since 2009. So doing this has reminded me a lot of things that I'm not doing. So where do we get prospects? The first thing that I think a lot of us think of is just the social media. And so we just keep posting, and maybe we'll post once a day. There's a lot of different regimens on how to post. There's 5-3-1, there's 10-4-1. I think everybody's got their own agenda or what they think or what we should use. But a big element of what we're missing is the face-to-face. I know my team is missing a lot of the face-to-face. So family, friends, coworkers, past coworkers, volunteer groups. You guys are in the way, so I can't see this. School networking, sports teams, children's sports teams, any of this, venues, religious venues, gym, exercise program. We love the pink party, Linda and I.
Yes.
So when I was sitting down and making my list today, it occurred to me that I'm really using Facebook as my main source. And not that you can't do that, but I'm missing out on a lot of other people that I know. And places that we can talk. So that's where we get our prospects, social media and Facebook. I tried a little bit with Instagram, right, Cassandra?
Yeah.
What did you think? I feel like Instagram is not.
You really have like just the kids following you on Instagram.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I've put a lot of friends on Instagram, but maybe I've got like 200 people, where on Facebook I have maybe 900 people. So Instagram, I didn't think. I don't have a Twitter. I don't have a LinkedIn. So I don't know. But I kept reading all week, and I have to remember that social media really is just one tool. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times I hear people saying this in the chats, and I sometimes think it too, like, what if I run out of prospects? And Denise, how long have you been doing this?
I've been selling since September.
Since September. Okay. So you're with me, and Denise is one of my power partners, and she's on the same team as us. So don't you often feel like we're running out of prospects?
Yes.
Or I feel like that a lot. Like, okay, I've targeted my Facebook, and, I've talked to so many people, and these people didn't get back to me. So going back to my sales days, I have to keep remembering, you never run out of prospects. Linda happens to be somebody who is very active. Cassandra and I laugh that Linda's social life is more active than ours. And you're out almost every night, but you're out with friends and coworkers and people from church. And I will say that face-to-face, I do feel helps a lot. We talked about this last week, but I want to touch on it again because, again, this is something that I'm not using the way I should. I've started to implement something this week. Referrals is your absolute best method for gaining new customers. And so when a referral is the best, most reliable method of prospecting. When you rely on an existing relationship to make a personal introduction, this is the important part. The potential prospect, God bless you.
Thank you.
The potential prospect feels like they know you or they have a reason to trust you because you've been introduced. And in the beginning of my sales, which is June, we're coming up to a year, I had someone that's very fit, very into exercise and health, and she ordered from me and then just started sending me a bunch of people. And it's funny, I wrote her and I said, listen, I want to send you something for all the referrals. And I had sent her a bottle of Accelerator. But again, even at that point, my head was so out of the game with sales that I wasn't thinking, oh, these are a bunch of referrals. And about 4 of her friends signed up to try it. We did say that referrals should be asked for at the time of the sale. When we're selling somebody as a preferred customer, or if they're joining at that point, we should be saying to them, do you have anyone you think that would want to get involved in this or try this? But I think, and talk to me, you tell me, one of the things I feel like is deterred me from asking for referrals is because I want to get the person that I just signed to start selling.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, Denise? So if I'm asking for referrals, then I'm taking their people.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, because I find that I didn't ask Linda for referrals because if Linda has people, I would like her to sign them up. But maybe we're missing the boat on the referrals. Maybe if we say, if you have any referrals, blah, 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 we implement a program, which we'll talk about. Then if I speak to the referral and they say, yes, I want to join, maybe I go back to my ambassador and say, hey, I know you weren't really interested in selling, but
you have 3 people, right?
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I touched on this last week. This I want to hit home this week. Implement a referral program. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do yet. I started working on a graphic earlier so I could put something on here, but I just ran out of time. But maybe if we can come up with one team-wide, you could do it individually. This is a suggestion. Like if 3 people join, your current customer receives something free. So if one of my ambassadors that's not selling or selling has 3 people that sign under them or under me, maybe I send them a bottle of Block. I mean, with the money that I'm going to make for 3 people to sign up, I can afford to send a bottle of Block or a bottle of ProBio. And that makes people want, I've said this to you, I'm like the queen of white lines. It's the craziest thing. I looked today, I've got 90 people under me, Denise. 90 ambassadors. And I want to say maybe 35 or 40 of them are white lines. So those are people who do order. They order every other month. Some months they order, their PV is over 100. Some months it's not. A lot of them I've talked to about selling, and they're not interested. Those are good people to go to and go, I know that you still like the product and you take it and you're not, every month you're not on a triplex or whatever it may be. But if you've got any referrals, if you want to give me a list of referrals, if 3 people or more join, every 3 people you get something free. I feel like that would be, and I did, Linda, this would be good for you.
Yeah.
This would be really good for you because you have some really great people on your team who just maybe aren't there yet as far as wanting to share the product. But they might have, Terry is going to jump on board with this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. But maybe Elise or Anita or somebody else who's just not at the right time in their life that wants to start necessarily sharing it or selling it, but likes the products. I mean, why not? So, but you have to be willing to give something. That is something that we used to do. Way back in the 90s, it's funny. I remember we used to give them scratch-off tickets. It was so strange. We used to come in with like $20 in scratch-off tickets for 10 businesses, and people would fill it out. They wanted the scratch-offs. So the referrals is something that I think we should implement. As far as me, as far as you guys who are on my team, I can work with you on this. I think this is something we should start like this week.
Okay.
Okay, so we've all heard the term prospecting. We've heard leaders talk about this. If you have a sales background, you've heard of this. There's cold calling, there's warm calling, and there's actually the hot call. in my research that I've been doing, it's weird. Cold calling was the it thing. We knocked doors, we picked up the phone, we cold called. I mean, you cannot believe how much research I'm doing for this, but it's good for me. It's really good for me. And a lot of people are saying, is the cold call just totally gone? And are they all warm calls now? So there was so many different definitions on what a cold call is versus what a warm call. So I'm going back to the 90s. I'm going back to what a cold call was. And a cold call was a prospect you've never spoken with or you do not know them. It wasn't somebody that you know or that's on your Facebook page that you didn't talk to about the product. It was a complete stranger. That's what a cold call was. A warm call was somebody that you've had at least one form of contact with or a referral. So in my reading, I'm seeing a lot of with the network marketing, they might be looking at a cold call as a different thing, but you know what? Think of a cold call as just that. I don't know this person at all. Or let me rephrase that. Not that you don't know this person. You could have known this person in high school 20 years ago, but you've never spoken with this person pertaining to Plexus. So I made some notes here. Cold calling can be very frustrating, and you guys should know that. Normally, you do not get through a cold call on the first try. So let's say that you put together a message and you wanted to send it off to somebody that you've never talked to about Plexus. Do not get discouraged if they don't write back. We used to say it takes 3 or 4 times to even get a cold call prospect on the phone. So when you cold call somebody, you've got one goal in mind. The one goal is to turn them into a warm call. And what I mean by that is the only thing that you're trying to get done is one contact. So that way, the next time you contact them, it's warm. Do not get discouraged if you don't sell a cold call prospect. It's really hard to just reach out. First of all, cold calling is really uncomfortable. Trust me, I did a lot of it. A complete stranger, you're like, hello, just wanted to know if you want to try this. You have no credibility with them. Now that we have social media and that it's maybe somebody that you haven't talked to in 15 years, I will agree, it's very uncomfortable to write somebody and say, hi, just wanted to know if you wanted to try Plexus. And I have gotten have you guys gotten any inboxes? I've gotten some inboxes. So far, the direct selling is getting really big, and facial products and jewelry, I've had people inbox me who I haven't talked to in years. And before Plexus, I might have thought, like, what a strange email I just got. But now I understand what they're doing. But we do have to cold call because otherwise, all these people are not going to come to you. Everything that you've read and everything you've heard in all of your training in the couple of months that you have been here is that people are watching. And that is true. People are watching. So some of them you need to reach out to. Listen to me. Cold calls should be short and sweet. So number one, if you have the person's phone number and you can pick up the phone and call them, that's great. But I know phone calls have become very obsolete. If you are going to just blind message somebody, it should be very short and very sweet. So you've probably heard the term elevator pitch. I know Denise has. Mm-hmm. Linda, you've heard this, right?
Yes.
Wendy, you've heard elevator pitch. Cassandra, now you have if you haven't. We used to call it a 30-second commercial. Wendy. We used to call it a 30-second commercial. But we always had an elevator pitch for whatever company I worked for. And I want to tell you, I started sharing this stuff last June. And in January, I went to Super Saturday. Denise, you went to that?
Yes.
Super Saturday. So I went with Segal and a bunch of other people here in New Jersey. And she turned to me in the middle of Super Saturday, and they were talking about elevator pitches. And she goes, what's yours? And I realized I don't have one. And I just started rambling. She goes, wait, hold on a minute. This is so long. And I'm like, you're right. This is so long. And I should know, of all people with my sales training, I have no elevator pitch. And I'm completely rambling about a pink drink. I came home that night and I sat down and wrote like 15 different elevator pitches on what I thought would be the best thing for me. And I remember researching, and this is going back a few months, in an elevator pitch or a 30-second commercial, you want 2 things to happen. You want very simple, short, sweet piece of information on the product or company you're working for, and you want to make it personal. That is what you're going to send somebody when you're doing a cold call. but it should be just a few sentences. Because if you send this one of these long, big paragraphs, it comes in like in blue when you open. And if it's something that you can just fill in somebody's name and you can keep changing it, people will know that. So, and I think I put it on the next slide. Okay, so that's a cold call. So we're going to talk about what you do there. A warm call is somebody you've had one contact with or a referral. So warm calls are the prospects we were just talking about. Those are your friends, your family, people at church, people at sports teams. These are people you know. Or this could be a cold call that you spoke to once. A sorority sister that you sent a message to and said, I think that you would really like this product. And she wrote back and said, you know what? I probably would, but now's not a good time. Or money's really tight. Get back in touch with me. So the second time you reach out to somebody, it's warm, but it's more comfortable. This is super important. Dismiss the mind frame that you're bothering friends and family. And I had that for the first couple months, definitely. If you're not being annoying, then you're not bothering them. Friends and family are the people who trust you the most and who respect you the most. So if you've started on a new venture, those are the people that you're going to call on. But we did say this last week, and I'll say it again. I stand by this. You cannot get mad at people in your life if they don't want to try what you're doing. I have people in my own life right now who are like, that's awesome. I'm so glad you're doing it. I'm not trying it. I'm not jumping on board. And you can't get mad at people if they don't want to be involved in what you're doing. The other thing that I myself have tried to keep separate is Plexus. Because if your entire life is going to be consumed by Plexus, and that's all you're going to talk about when you're around your family and your friends, they're not going to want to be around you because they're not involved in it. So when I'm with certain family members and friends who haven't wanted to get on board, I don't bring it up unless they do. And a lot of times I'll have people say to me, how's the Plexus going? I said, really good, really, really good. I'm so happy I got involved in this, and I leave it. And I wasn't doing that in the beginning. I was talking to everyone I knew, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be the annoying family member or friend. So get rid of that mind frame. You're not bothering people. Unless they've said, no, I really don't want to try this. Stop shoving it down my throat. Then you're bothering them. Okay. This is an example of my elevator pitch. And I want to tell you that somebody will read your elevator pitch and they'll say, no, I don't, that's not good. That's not really what you want to say. You should probably do it this way, or you should do it this way. Or I might read something Cassandra wrote and say, I don't know. The one thing I've learned about an elevator pitch is you have to say what makes you feel comfortable. So I customized it to say, Plexus is a health and wellness company with a line of natural products. There's your little simple statement on what the company is. Now, what have they done for you? They've helped me lose weight, balance my blood sugar, reduce my anxiety, sleep better, and become migraine-free. So if you were to create an elevator pitch, which everybody should have one, if you don't, make sure you have one for next week. And now you're saying to me, it's so uncomfortable, the thought of cold calling. What I would do in terms of a cold call is I would write, like, say it was Linda. First of all, the only reason I would cold call Linda is if I was reading her posts or saw a reason that I thought she would be interested in this product. Or, in our group pages, you can see who's looked at your posts.
Yes.
If it was someone who looked at my post, but I'm still not comfortable saying, hey, I saw you looked at my post. Some people are comfortable saying that. I'm not. But I just might write, hey, Linda, I know you've probably seen me posting about Plexus, and it's something that I've gotten really serious and really involved in. Boom, my elevator pitch. If you have any interest in learning anything about the products, let me know. I'm around. And you just leave it at that. If you're non-threatening, people will generally write you back, and they might write no thanks. But even if they write no thanks, they have just become a warm call. Okay? And so you'll separate your list from your cold calling and your warm call. You certainly don't want to email somebody and say, you talked about losing weight. I've got your solution. You don't want to make anyone feel bad about themselves.
Right.
Just like when I sold computer training or I sold copiers, you don't want to just get on the phone, or we get on the phone or get on email and kind of pound somebody. I'm sure you've probably seen my posts, and or it's hard to kind of address everybody all at once in the comments. So if you have any interest in this, definitely shoot me an email. That's what a cold call is. It's a little uncomfortable, but it should be short and sweet and to the point. And your objection in a cold call is to turn it into a warm call. That's it. If they respond, awesome. Do not get discouraged if they don't. Think about how many things we haven't responded to. It's because people feel uncomfortable or bad saying no thank you, so they just delete it instead. Okay, make your list. Make your list. If you haven't made it yet, I did it. I've got about 60 people on it. I'm surprised of how many people I have on it. I need to separate it from warm and cold. And I'll tell you, out of the 60, I probably have about 20 warm calls on here that I've spoken with or sent samples to. But the reason I say separate it is because you're going to speak to them differently. If it's a cold call, you're going to give them a couple liner elevator pitch. I would love to talk to you. Let me know if you're around or if you're interested in this. If it's a warm call, it's going to be something totally different. And it's going to be customized individually. What is the first contact you had with that person? Was the first contact you had with that person that you sent them samples? I sent out like 60 packages of samples last summer. And I had about 30 or 32 people sign up. And so out of the 28 that got samples, maybe 5 to 10 of them said it. I didn't think it was anything great. And the rest of the people like, now's not a good time. So those are warm customers. And one of the main things that I do have a small list of about 7 or 8 people that whenever I'm doing any kind of special, I make sure that I send them a message. Hey, just want to let you know, I'm running a special this month. They're expecting to hear from me if I'm running a special. They tried the product. They liked the product. They don't have the time right now. They don't have the money right now. We're going to talk about that stuff. I want you to remember me saying this. If you've sent somebody samples or you've sat down and discussed with them, if you've given your time to somebody in sales, you have earned the right. That's what we call it. You have earned the right to reach out to a warm call. If you have given any of your time, any of your money, you've sat and had an appointment, you did a Zoom call, you sent them a sample, you have earned the right to go in and send them a message or a text, God bless you, or a phone call. If at any point you feel that maybe you're annoying them or maybe you should back off, we just get rid of that. We call that a suspect. There's a difference between a suspect and a prospect. And I won't go like crazy into suspecting, but if you have someone that's just for months and months and months just blowing you off, I don't think so, I don't think so, we move them to what's called the suspect category because they are no longer a prospect. They're not a cold call, they're not a warm call, they're not a 30, 60, 90. They're probably never going to buy from you. Don't waste your time on suspects. And sometimes it's really hard to take someone off the prospect list because you so bad want that person to purchase it. But you got to move them off the list and you got to move on. Set weekly goals. Now, when you work in sales, you have weekly goals because you have a quota. And if you don't meet your quota, eventually you could lose your job. I have definitely found with MLM, and this being a second job for all of us, everybody who's on this call right now has a full-time job. So it's hard to make a lot of time for this as a second part-time job. And a lot of us have looked at this and said, wow, this is something that could be a full-time job, but I can't give up my full-time job to do this. I mean, Denise alone cannot have her cell phone on her all day long at work. Denise,
Right.
tell them where you work.
Me either.
I work at a prison.
Linda can't either. But Denise
Not allowed
really,
to have a cell phone.
I feel like I'm in a prison.
yeah, Linda feels like she's in prison. I know. And I will say, I'm able to have my cell phone on me all day. So on breaks, I'm texting people, I'm writing, but I've seen Linda 7 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. Denise does the same thing. She has no phone all day. So, and she's got young kids and she's morning and she's night. So set weekly goals, but you guys set them realistic. I would love to say we should all reach out to 100 people a week. But you know what? I did reach out to 100 people a week when that was my full-time job. So if I can even reach out to 10 people a week, then that's the goal that I'm going to set. It's very hard to be disciplined when you have a full-time job and you're working this as a part-time thing. But make them. No matter what, set the goals. Even if you say, I'm going to reach out to 5 new people this week. If you do 1 a day, awesome. Meet your goals. Where it says take responsibility and be disciplined. This is really important in sales. Meet your goals. Don't worry about the outcome. Salespeople get very focused on what's going to happen with this customer. Are they going to purchase from me? Are they going to stay in my pipeline? Are they going to become a suspect? What you need to focus on is your action and not the outcome. And we used to do a lot of sales training, and that was a big thing. Focus on your action, not the outcome. Don't worry about what's going to happen. Are you going to be able to meet your goals this week? Which, by the way, is really important. All the training is great. All the reading of the books is great. Talking to people on Facebook is great. But if you don't prospect, you're not making money. Period. Okay. This we talked about last week was the dating analogy. Hold on. I think Pam messaged us.
I just messaged her back.
Okay, good. Okay. Pam, jump on. Oh, I'm talking. She's not on. Talking to her. Okay. The dating analogy. And Denise, if you watched, we always said dating, sales is like dating. It's all rejection. People will stop dating for a period of time because it can be so much rejection that you need to take a step back and, take a hold of yourself. That's how sales is. Sales can be 100 no's for one yes. And what happens is salespeople start to take it personally. It's really hard sometimes not to take it personally, but you have to remove yourself from the situation and think of it like dating. Do not force things. God bless you. If somebody is interested, give them some time, give them some space. Same thing if somebody asked you out on a date and they were driving you absolutely crazy, you would feel suffocated and say, maybe I don't even want to go out on this date. So give people time and space. Let them marinate. Let them observe. They will. And if they've messaged you and showed interest, when I say be cool, it's very important. Treat others the way you want to be treated. We learned that as a kid. Could you imagine that someone just kept messaging you every day? So you're going to buy it? Are you interested? Are you going to buy it? Are you going to be interested? I would probably block the person. So, I mean, seriously. And not to say that I haven't maybe messaged somebody too much. Always think when you're about to send a message to somebody, how would I want them to treat me? Because if they were going to stalk me over an energy drink or, to buy mascara, I'd probably remove myself from the group and feel uncomfortable with the person. Is Pam on? Hi, Pam. On?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it says one more, but I can't see her on my thing. Oh, let me see here. Hold on.
Yeah, she's
Hi,
on.
Pam. I see you. Okay, good.
So, but I see her name.
Use the attraction method, and the women talk a lot about this. They probably just don't call it the attraction method because that's often a sales thing. But a lot of the women, let me move this over. A lot of the women already do this. Segal talks about this. Hang on one second. I've got you guys. Okay. Use the attraction method. You want to be attractive to people, just like with dating. You want to share stories. You want to talk about how you're helping others. Highlight your life. Sorry. Wendy, this is important. Wendy, you started this early with me. And yes, it's great that we're sharing product knowledge. And we do all this copying and pasting of other people's lives. And that's wonderful. But you know what? These people know you. And we should be talking more about ourselves and highlighting our life and what are we doing. And that doesn't mean that you need to turn your page into a complete marketing tool to where your friends start to unfriend you. I'm really, really big on not putting too much on my personal page. You guys know that. I definitely have it out there, but I don't want people to start running away from me. I'm patient, and one by one, I get messages here and there. When you prospect in the attraction method where you're talking about great things that are happening in your own life, people will drop their guard because they don't feel like you're trying to sell them something. Mm-hmm. So when we post a picture about a meeting, on Easter, we did a side-by-side of Linda because she had dropped maybe 28 pounds and never did the side-by-side actually. Maybe posted a little bit on her page, but pictures, they say 1,000 words. We did a side-by-side. This poor woman's phone was blowing up until one of them, how many people messaged you?
I don't know.
But it's amazing because you know what? You see it and you're like, okay, hold on. I know this woman and I knew her when she looked like that. And now I know her when she looked like, what's happened? I need to be part of this. Even when we had the girls over this weekend, And we just posted some pictures, and somebody wrote you, Linda, and said,
Yeah.
okay, what's this about? Actually, 2 people did.
Oh, yeah, you missed one. No, you missed another one. You missed the third one.
Oh, I missed the third one. I
I'm
didn't
so
even-
surprised at you.
Yeah, I missed the third one. No, because I'm
I
usually.
don't know how you missed her.
Oh, I missed the
I didn't
third.
see her till Monday. Monday I saw it.
Oh, no, I
I
didn't.
wrote back to her, so I'm waiting to hear back from her.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And you know what it was? We had a few people over and we made vision boards, and it was Seagal's idea. I loved it. It was great. And so we all put up like a few pictures, but that's it. Remember me saying last week, do not vomit all over your friends and family. If you make them feel like you're in a cult, then they're not going to want to be part of it. Really, it's a great business. I love it. I've made great friends. You guys have become great friends of mine. And we feel healthy and we're doing well. And I would love people to be on this journey with us. But there's also times in people's life when they feel, okay, that's the last thing I can work. I'm about to lose my house here. So going on this pink journey with you is just not pleased, Jamie, you know, and so we have to be understanding of that. But the attraction method is great. Hold the phone. Okay. Discipline. It is so hard to be disciplined in sales. Listen to me. I was in it forever. It was 17 years of sales, 11 years on the road. You know how easy it was to go pick up my dry cleaning, stop at the diner, go to a movie with somebody. It's really hard to be disciplined. And this multi-level marketing, this is great, but this is straight commission. Nobody's your boss. So remember, discipline equals freedom. The more discipline you have, the more money you make, the more freedom you will have. We have every excuse in the book. I have every excuse in the book. One day you sit up and go, okay, I'm not making excuses anymore. I'm too tired. I don't have enough time. This doesn't mean take all this time away from your family. It doesn't mean run yourself into the ground. But if you find yourself, listen, everybody needs a break. If you find yourself for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're making a lot of excuses, then you have to just say to yourself, okay, let me take responsibility. I'm totally making excuses. I'm not doing it. And let's face it, we all know it's doable. We've got Seagal is an emerald. And for those of us who have followed her, which is all of us and the rest on our team, Denise, and the rest of us are in New Jersey, we saw her. She's a friend, and we saw her move up and rank up like that. And she's got that freedom that we're all want, and it's completely doable. But I get it. We're all working full-time jobs, so just carve out a little piece. But we're the biggest excuse makers. I'm the biggest excuse maker. Create and take action on a prospect-based activity goal. What I was saying before is the books are great, the Zooms are great, the chats are great. Everything we're doing is great. We've become friends. We've become family. We're learning product information. Nothing is going to make you money except prospecting. If you are not out there talking to people, you can talk to all the Plexus friends you want in the world, but they're going to have paychecks and you're not. So if you're creating a goal of talking to 3 people this week, do it, by the way. You have to do it. What we talked about last week was whether the belief or the action comes first. And Cassandra knows me. I talk about this stuff all the time. I talk about it with my students. I talk about it with Spark. It's only natural that we think, okay, you need to believe in yourself first. But you're not going to believe in yourself unless you've done something to make you feel like you've achieved something. Your self-esteem is not going to be raised if you haven't done anything to bring it there. So this is from last week. You have to make a conscious choice not to let the way you feel control the way you act. If you feel frustrated, you won't prospect. If you feel scared or you feel nervous, you won't prospect. And I can't drill it home enough. Without prospecting, there is no Sandler sales training. There is no extra money. There's no going on trips. There's no making your car payment. You have to use actions to change the way you feel. So you've got to break out of that fear. And let's say between now and next Wednesday when they come back on, when we come back on, everybody have a elevator pitch. Use mine. Copy and paste mine, but change what I wrote if you want, if you like mine. Change what I wrote as far as my personal reasons for doing this and how I'm feeling. And let's all say we're going to reach out to 3 people in a cold call in the next week. Short and sweet. Remember that. 3 people might ignore you. 1 person might write back and say no. 1 lucky person, somebody's going to go, all right, you got me. Tell me about it. But just the action of doing it will make you feel better. Okay, so this is where we were last week. This is I love this guy. You know how much I love this training. and that I said each week I'm going to go through one of the stages. Every week I'm going to talk about prospecting, not to the extent that I am now, because if you don't prospect, you don't need this submarine at all. So our first stage is bonding and rapport. This I put up last week, but I added this little thing today because I wanted to kind of make sure you guys know that bonding and rapport happens throughout the entire process. So here, where you see bonding and rapport and upfront contract, don't think of those two as a stage. Okay, check it off your list. I got through that. Now check it off your list. Bonding and rapport and upfront contracts, you're going to go throughout. The minute you stop bonding with somebody is the minute your sales process is going to stop. Okay, number one, you are not a salesperson. You are in the relationship building business. This goes for anyone. I know Linda's got quite a bit of sales experience. If you can't build a relationship with somebody, as I said 5 million times, and I will say for the rest of my life, people buy from people. I was up against great products. I was up against people who are $500 a month less than me. People buy from people. So I'm going to call you a salesperson, and I'm going to tell you we sell because we do. People are going to say, we don't sell, we share. We do share, but we sell. We sell. We're making money. We're salespeople. But your objective is not to sell. Your objective is to build a relationship. If you build a relationship, you're going to sell. I have a relationship with Linda because she's Cassandra's mom. So when I sent her a message and said, hey, listen, I started this new product. I think you would love this. She was like, all right, give me samples. I'm in. Because I already had a relationship with her. So the more you can create the rapport, you build on that. The greater the likelihood you will grow your business. Trust building is not done by small talk or finding things in common. You guys, people often don't understand what rapport means. And we build what's called fake rapport. Okay, let me come back. So fake rapport is walking into someone's office and seeing pictures and going, oh, you have 3 boys? Oh, I have 2 girls. Oh yeah, how different raising boys and girls. Or seeing a picture on the wall that somebody's fishing. Let's say that you have seen on someone's Facebook page that they're an avid snowboarder. Do not email them and be like, hey, I saw that you snowboard. I love snowboarding too. It's so fake, and that's not how you build you do not build rapport by trying to find things in common. And people get really uncomfortable with that. Develop an environment of trust and credibility. Listen to me. You're heartfelt. That's it. Yeah. You're not pleading for someone's acceptance. You're being authentic. And when I say be disarmingly honest, this is the statement that I mean. Let's talk and see if this product fit your needs or not. It might not. I love it. I have blood sugar issues. I feel that this pink drink has totally helped me with blood sugar. This might not be the right product for you, but let's talk and see if it is. People drop their walls at that point and are like, okay, so you know what? If it's not for me, she's not going to push it, and she's not going to ruin a friendship either. I have not ruined one relationship or friendship with anybody over this. I have people who joined and wrote me 2 or 3 months later and said, I don't feel like this product is for me. And I've said, let's talk about it. Tell me what your concerns are. And there were 1 or 2 people that I said, I really don't think this product is for you. I have another friend who is actually, it's the same person, who's super fit, super clean eater, super in the gym. And she'd gone through a bunch of these different products. And you know what, James? I don't know if these products are for me. I go, I got to be honest with you. I really don't know if they are. She's on the probiotics. She loves it. She's on the BioCleanse. She loves it. And the other products just weren't giving her the energy she needed. So you know what? That's cool. Go elsewhere and get the energy you needed. When you're heartfelt and when you're honest and when you're authentic, people drop their guard and they feel like, all right, let's talk. And if these products are a fit for you, awesome. If they're not a fit for you, we move on. And this is something I talked about with Cassandra, because Cassandra's still young and I love her to death. But I know how you are. And I know that if you feel like you like something and then someone else doesn't like it, you take it to heart.
Yeah. And
I've said to you before, with a couple people, let it go. With somebody tried it and they didn't love it, you tried it and you loved it. We can't push our thoughts on people. We can't push our likes on people. Can you imagine someone kept writing you and was like, well, I don't understand why you don't want to try this tanning lotion. And I was like, yeah, well, I tried it and I felt like I looked really orange. And they were like, no, try it again. I would be like, okay, I'm blocking you because you're stalking me. This is crazy. So just remember me saying, bonding and rapport is really important, but I'm not emailing somebody and saying, hey, I saw your daughter did the Good Ship lollipop dance and my niece is going to do it. So maybe we should talk. It's completely fake. If you want to be authentic and you want to be heartfelt, you can say, I've tried these products. They've really changed my life. If you have any interest, let me know. Okay. There are 4 keys to bonding and rapport. We are all I-centered, which means no matter how much we give of ourselves or we're selfless or we do community service, I want you guys to remember, no matter what, you're I-centered, you're about you. We want to feel good about ourselves. This is something we call okayness. So what happens is you approach a prospect and what you're sometimes saying is you're not okay. You would be okay if you ordered my product. But right now, how you are is not okay. That's how some people take things. So where I put do not get tripped up by a prospect's defensive or rude attitude is because sometimes people immediately feel attacked. Like, so if I'm not taking your probiotic, then I guess I'm not okay. So when I put respond in nurturing and understanding ways, again, everything about sales is building up trust. If you listen and you let people talk, they'll go on and on and on. We all do it. I do it. Are you sneezing, Linda?
No,
I was going to say, God bless you.
I'm answering a text. They always text me during Zooms.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Last time Cassandra, she sneezed like 15 times in a row.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The second one is build your prospect up. We all have the need for hunger or recognition. Listen to me. One of the very best ways to bond is to offer sincere, positive feedback. Don't be fake. Don't just flatter people. But if you've got somebody who has recently been dieting or has tried some of our products, don't feel like you can't say, I think that you look amazing, or you would be really great with this. Or I see that you've got 4 kids and you're running around like a maniac. You look like an awesome mother. This drink often gives me a lot of energy. Prospects want to feel loved. They want to feel like you have their best interest at heart. What they don't want to feel like is you're going to make $50 on me, and so you need to quickly sign me. And most important thing with a prospect is building up trust. Okay, match and mirror, which it's going to be a little bit hard for us to do this when you're not face-to-face. This is a really, really common, very old sales technique. People like people who are like themselves. We like people who are like us. We get attracted to people who are like us. So when we used to go in and see clients, we would match them, match their body language, match their tone of voice, match their speech patterns. It shows commonality. This helps a prospect feel relaxed in your presence. So let me just give you an example. I am a very type A person. I'm loud, I'm persistent, I talk a lot. I would go into a sales call and let's say Joe Schmo was like, come on in, Jamie, have a seat, in his seat, talks very slow, very relaxed, very chill. I would change the way that I was because if you don't match somebody, you will overwhelm them. If this guy is real chill, real relaxed, and roll our sleeves up and let's talk, and I'm like, boom, 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 let's get down to business, and I'm talking really fast, and I'm coming at him, he will retreat because he'll feel overwhelmed. Like, this is kind of not my type of person. Again, let's go back to dating. Have you ever left a date and felt like, okay, totally not for me? That person is totally not for me. Wow. People feel like that about salespeople. Have you ever had a car salesman that was so on you and in your face to sign the contract at that day? And car salesmen have such a bad rep, and some of them are overbearing. God bless you. Some of them are overbearing, but you almost feel like I need to get away. I got to get away from this person for a minute. I feel very pressured. So match and mirror. People like themselves. If somebody is sending you back two sentences on a text message or a Facebook message. Do not respond with a book. Do not respond with 4 paragraphs. If they just keep writing you like 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, because that's how they communicate. So to get like 4 paragraphs and 2 images of triplex back from you, for some people is like, whoa. Other people will write you and you can tell. I don't want to BS. What's this Plexus about? Give me all your information. Sometimes I'll write back to people, okay, listen, I'm going to blow up your phone right now because I'm going to send you a bunch of images and a bunch of information if you want to put it on silent. And they'll go for it. Other people, I don't even do that. I just keep answering 1 question at a time. You match and mirror. Got it? Do you guys
That's what I just did.
Okay. Okay. Number 4, it's the most important thing in the world. I say this in class all the time. I'm guilty of it as well. First and foremost is to listen. It is so hard to sit back and listen. You have to let your prospect tell you their wants, their needs, and intentions. First of all, how do you know that you want them to be your customer? If we don't sit back and let them talk, we don't really know, do they need any of these products? Or what are their intentions? Do they just want to, do a runaround all night and talk about the products? Are they really interested in buying? So when I talk about bonding and rapport, this is stuff that's going to happen the entire process. Have any of you at this point gotten very close with any of your ambassadors? For those of you who do have ambassadors, for people that you haven't talked to in 20 years or didn't know before. Denise, Kelly, how long have you known her?
I've known her for 18 years.
18 years. Now you reconnected with her through Plexus, right?
Yeah.
Same thing
I
with
haven't
me,
seen
with Carrie. I haven't seen Carrie since I was in 6th grade in elementary school. I talked to her almost every single day.
Yeah.
So what's happened is we've bonded, but the bonding keeps happening. The same thing happens with the sales cycle. You have to let somebody tell you what they want. I am so guilty of this. You guys tell me, I don't know if you guys are doing this. I'm learning all over again with this sales training because I'm telling people. They used to say to us, are you telling or are you selling? And we'd say, no, we're selling. No, you're telling. You're telling people what their problem is and what they need. And I'm definitely guilty of this. It's one thing if someone says to you, all right, tell me what you think would be the best product for me. But someone's telling me gut health and I'm immediately going to the triplex and I really need to let them tell me more. So listening is going to be a big tool. So we got to get out there. We have to prospect. Know your cold calls from your warm calls. Cold calls are uncomfortable. Warm calls are not as uncomfortable. Practice makes perfect. Some people just need time to really get out there. It's funny because there will be people in our training that would say to us, you got to go, you got to knock doors, you got to pick up the phone. And we'd sit there and I'd stare at the phone with these scripts because we used to use scripts, which by the way, we don't use anymore. They're awful. But we would stare at these scripts and it would take 15 minutes to make that first phone call. But as soon as you made the first call, that was it. You could continue and you could keep calling and keep calling. So that's bonding and rapport. Now I wrote this down just so you guys can see it because upfront contracts, I said I'll do one each week, but upfront contracts is like 5 minutes long. If you remember that we talked about last week, this is the stage that you want to try to get a commitment. This can be uncomfortable. Prospect, they're interested, they want to talk to you. You start talking to them, you're starting to build rapport. They really are interested in the product. So here's an example I wanted to show you guys tonight. After you've gone over reasons with the prospect on why they should work with you or why they should purchase the product, an upfront contract sounds something like this. So Jamie, if the answer is yes, then you and I could spend the last couple of minutes together on this call thinking about what would be the best way to start a business relationship and begin. Are you okay with that? Once somebody says yes, you've got your commitment, you go. This is a little lengthy and this is businessy. But basically, if I can fit your needs, if I do have a product that's going to work on your gut health or help you, with weight loss or a couple things that we've talked about, are you interested in moving forward with this now? You have someone commit to yes, and then that's it. Boom, you start building a proposal. You get the proposal out. Sorry, guys. You get the proposal out, and you want the paperwork done like immediately. You have to find out what your prospect's intentions are. Remember me saying last week, and I will say again, don't be afraid to ask people if they have money. You don't say it like that. Oh, so do you have any money? What is your budget? Or do you have a budget for this right now? Is this something that you're looking to do now? Or how about what is your time frame? If someone says, well, if you could give me the information now, and then I'm thinking, maybe about July or August, that's it. Boom, send them the information. They get put on your 30, 60, 90, and then you've moved on. If somebody says, I don't even know if I'll buy this. Can you just send me a little bit of information? We'll go from there. I don't want to have a long extended talk. Honor them. You don't need to handle the objection. You don't need to reel them in. You don't need to say, well, we should really meet and talk about this. If they're adamant that they just want to see the information first, you have to honor somebody.
Right.
Okay. How are we doing? Questions, comments, concerns?
Well, I have this girl now that was messaged me on my page, I guess, after we had our meeting.
Okay.
I forget what I put on the pink page. I put something. I forget what I put the other day. And it said, oh, let's talk. And I said, oh, how did Jamie miss this one? So then
Because I'm on my page all the time. I know.
I know, because usually you're messaging me as I'm reading it.
I'm messaging you. I'm like, somebody messaged you.
Oh my God. So then she wrote to me, I wrote to her and I said, oh, hi. I would love you to try the pink drink. I'll give you a sample. So she wrote back to me and says, oh, is it used as a supplement or a meal replacement to aid in weight loss? And I said, not a meal replacement. It's used in water to help stop sugar and carb cravings. It is a health and wellness. This is my little elevator statement. It's a health and wellness company with natural products. It's helped me lose weight, more energy, and help with my sugar and my carb cravings. Let me know if you want more info. So now I'm waiting to hear back.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. It sounds short, sweet, and to the point.
Yeah.
You wanted to know what it was about. This is what the products are about. Let me know if this is something you'd be interested in.
Right.
And then that's it. And
Yep.
I already know you, Linda. You're not the type, but like, let's say you don't hear back from her. 3, 4, 5 days, then we reach out to her again.
Right.
Just want to
Exactly.
double check if you're interested. But there are people, and I'm not necessarily saying on this call or with Plexus, but I know a lot of people through the years, by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, they've messaged them again. So do you want a sample? So are you interested?
Right. No, I'll wait. You know.
I know you will. I know you're not that way. That makes people feel like super defensive.
Well, like I do get excited. I'm like, why isn't she writing back to me?
I know. Well, I know. And also
know.
it's new and it's exciting. So I'm going to stop this recording now. But Linda, I think that was perfect. I really
This girl is actually